Hi, and welcome to our video of the high roads around the Côte d'Azur and taking in a different view of this beautiful part of the world. And if you like what you see, then why not click on subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future content. Once again, I'm going to tell you what you already know, which is the Côte d'Azur is in the southeast of France, and today's journey is going to take you from Monaco through some of the scenic roads, fast forwarding through Nice to cross the River Var and onwards toward our final destination of Tourette-Salut. And there's no better place than to start in Monaco. And if you're a fan of Formula 1, we're just leaving Le Rascasse and heading through Antony-Nogues onto the start-finish straight, heading towards Saint-Devote and then heading up the fabulous Beau Rivage towards Massenet and Casino Square. Remember, you have to keep to the right if you're following the circuit. Oh, and remember, it's only a Grand Prix circuit one weekend of the year. And this is Monaco's famous casino as we head in towards Casino Square. Now for this journey we're going to take a detour from the Grand Prix circuit, but if you do want to catch that, I'll pop up a link to the corner from a very slow lap or two of Monaco. Now for my tour, I've decided to head west towards Cap Martin, to loop back and get onto the roads above Monaco, and as you can already see, the roads are a lot quieter around here. But as you can probably see, it's still popular with the somewhat wealthy. And so you know, we're taking the D2564 and we're heading northish. You're already starting to get glimpses of the views ahead. You've got to admit, that's a fairly stunning backdrop for you. One thing I need to warn you of, there aren't a vast amount of places to stop and really take in the view. But I found one place where I felt it was safe to pull over, and guess what? That's what I did, and this is the view that you see. Now back on the road, and I just love it when the route takes you above the top of a pylon. You're starting to get some pretty stunning views. I guess at this juncture I should give you a couple of the options. We chose to stick with the D2564 and head towards Viterbi. The other option was to take the D51 that would return you along the middle Corniche towards Nice. But I'm more of a man for the Grand Corniche, which is what this route is known as. And one of the things I can't convey is how beautiful it smells up here. I have to admit, I do admire the cyclists taking on this route. As we round the corner, you can see the traffic on the A8 slightly above us, the autoroute that services this region. But we're not interested in speed, we're interested in taking in the views. And now we've reached our first stopover, which is Le Turbie. I hope I'm saying that okay. And film fans may recognise it from the ambush scene in the 1998 film Ronin, starring Robert De Niro. Also featuring in that film is the beautiful Villefranche-sur-Mer, but that's another story. But for today it would make an excellent place to stop for a coffee and a pastry, or if you've got the time then why not discover its historic ancient streets. But for us that'll have to be another day. Now sometimes I see things that just make me smile. Was there any need for that? Really? Never mind. And as we continue, we're sticking with that D2564 on towards Ease. And now time to admire more stunning views and impressive cyclists as we head down towards our next destination. And you have to admit this is pretty impressive. And if you think the roads are pretty quiet, just so you know, this was filmed on the 6th of September 2018. And now we get our first glimpse of our next destination, Ease, the medieval village high on a hillside. And if you watched our video on the French Riviera, you notice we also went through the lower part of the town. However, they are only connected by a rather rocky footpath. Once again, a fabulous place to stop and explore. We did in 2012, but today there's other adventures to be had. And so you know, we have now joined the Middle Corniche, which once again gives you excellent views if you're heading out of town. But I've decided to do a U-turn here and head north out of town towards interestingly named Avenue of the Blue Devils. Once again, stunning views as we make our way slowly towards Nice. And I'm so pleased we took this detour when you come across a collection of classic convertibles, from this beautiful Peugeot 404, then the Mercedes 190 SL, the Alfa Romeo Giulietta, another Mercedes, this time a 250 SL, and a Ford Mustang, all 60s classics. Now that's brought a smile to my face, and I am just loving this road. Just skim the village of St Michael, which means I'm just at the back of Villefranche-sur-Mer. Never said this was going to be a quick journey, did I? on our right, between the trees, is Nice, so we know we're getting closer, and by a touch of magic, we're now the other side of Nice. But I'm still loving these roads though, even though at times they can be just a touch challenging. You need to give it a bit of a wide berth at times. Oops, sorry my friend, thanks very much. Merci mon ami. Now I know I'm enjoying myself, but I do have to consider others. So times you just need to pull over, let the locals pass, and get back on your way. Now how long did that take? And by doing that I enjoy a much more relaxing drive. And then I get treated to another twisty turny section which I really enjoy. I'm not sure Janice enjoys quite so much. And now we cross the River Var to the northwest of Nice. Once again passing pretty little towns that, if we had more time, we'd explore. Another town we'd recommend stopping at. It's a beautiful little place, and also further down the valley is St Paul de Vence, another exceptional place to explore if time permits. And now we're heading to our final destination on this trip, Tourette-sur-Loup, another ancient medieval town set on the hillside. Now let's take a little look. As we arrive in town, it looks pretty enough. And there's a guy flagging a lift. I'm afraid not, mon ami. Now just a word of note as we arrive in the town. This was a Thursday and around 3 PM, and the little car park associated with the town was a little busy, but that didn't put us off. and then you find out why it's so busy. It's a beautiful little place to explore, and of course I've got a video on that, so I'll pop a link up in the corner. And it offers you stunning views over the landscape you've just travelled through. And with that, it brings our journey to an end. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and happy travels.